And what happens is our brains don't really know the difference between reality and fiction. So when you tell your brain one thing, it immediately goes to work looking for evidence. So that's why whatever you think can become true, because your brain just goes to work finding evidence of whatever you tell it. Welcome to the Energy Within podcast, helping you to beat imposter syndrome, embrace your weirdness, and fully step into your soul's purpose. My name is Carrie Jokala. I am your host. I am a Reiki master teacher, a fitness instructor, a wife, a mom to 2 little boys, and this is episode 168. And before I launch in, I'm going to speak for just a quick second on the fact that since the beginning, I've always included that I'm a fitness instructor. And I know that on the surface doesn't seem to have anything to do with what we talk about, except for the fact that I've always taken this energy idea to mean we need to take care of all aspects of our energy. And I know I've said that in the past. And in the past, for a brief while, like I talked about before, I did actually try to tie all that in together by having a virtual fitness studio, which I don't know, maybe it'll come back at some point in some form. My Reiki teacher, almost every time she channels messages or pulls cards for me, there's something tied into how fitness is also meant to be apparently a big part of how I'm going to help people, or tied in with the Reiki and all of this energy business somehow. I have yet to figure out what that's meant to look like, but it keeps coming up and just it popped into my head as I said my intro this time. So I figured I would just speak on that and put it out there, and hey God, hey universe, if you want to clue me in a little more on what that's all supposed to mean and what it's supposed to look like, I'm here for it. So help a sister out. So I wanted to talk just a little bit about changing your mindset today. I was scrolling through the list that I keep of topic ideas for the podcast and for my Instagram posts. And I had written one down a while ago that I haven't actually yet talked about, but about how affirmations are a great way to help change your mindsets. And I don't remember the episode numbers, and I just now remembered that I completely forgot to link back to all the episodes that I keep promising I'm going to link to in some of these newer episodes where I keep referencing past ones and saying, oh, I'll try to remember to link to it. I don't remember to link to them. So I'm sorry that I keep forgetting to do that. And I hope that if you do want to listen to those, that you've been able to find them. But here we go again with another long time ago reference. It may have been the beginning of this year, although it could have been the beginning of last year too at this point. I don't even know anymore. But there were 2 different women that I interviewed. One was Heidi Speaker, and the other one was Belle Lockerbie. And they both, in their own different ways, had used affirmations to help them through some dark periods in their life. Heidi had used affirmations as one thing that she leaned on to help her get through postpartum depression. And it was a real key thing for her to have those affirmations at all times. And Belle's story was really interesting in how she used them, in the fact that in the beginning, she was in such a dark place with the way she viewed herself, her self-esteem, that she couldn't even say anything nice to herself. She started off, her first affirmations were things like, I have hair. She would look in the mirror and she would just point out factual things that she saw and could confirm with her own eyes, because that was all she could agree with. But the cool part is that she kept going until she reached a point where she was able to say the kinds of affirmations that we think of when we think of affirmations. And what I had written down as my topic spark was a little bit about how sometimes people look at affirmations as though you're lying to yourself, especially in the beginning. So especially if you look at Belle's story, where she started with what her affirmations looked like, it can seem weird, it can seem challenging and difficult in the beginning, because it can feel, especially if you are starting off saying the nice things about yourself or the positive things about how you envision yourself to be or how you want your life to be, it can feel like you're lying to yourself. So I know that's one complaint a lot of people have against using affirmations. But what I think the thing is that you're using them to rewire your brain. And I talk a decent amount about this in something that I don't talk about or promote a lot, is I have a free Affirmations Workbook on my website that you can go to. So if you just go to carriejocala.com, I'm not sure what menu drop down it's under anymore. I may have made a freebies menu drop down, but I'm not sure. So I do know for a fact that it is already and has always been linked in the show notes. So if you've never scrolled the show notes, go take a look, because I know there's a lot of things in the show notes, but it's in there. But I talk about how, especially if you maybe know for sure that at one point in your life you were a more positive person, you thought better of yourself, and then something happened, a relationship happened, an event happened that shifted your mindset to where maybe things are a little more bleak, a little more negative, or just simply not as positive as you used to be. Chances are that in most situations, even that mindset shift didn't happen overnight. You probably didn't believe those negative thoughts instantly in the beginning either, especially if it was a relationship where someone was telling you those thoughts about yourself, trying to make you believe certain things that you knew weren't true, but they kept getting repeated. And what happens is our brains don't really know the difference between reality and fiction. So when you tell your brain one thing, it immediately goes to work looking for evidence. So that's why whatever you think can become true, because your brain just goes to work finding evidence of whatever you tell it. Let that sink in. So the point is, what we have to remember about using affirmations to shift our mindset is that none of it happens overnight. I believe that possibility exists if you're energetically in the right place and you're ready for such a big shift to happen that quickly. But for most of us, it's going to take some time. So start off with acknowledging that if affirmations or something similar is what you plan to use to shift your mindset. Which leads me to this whole idea again that everyone starts to talk about this time of year. I know, but just stay with me. Is the New Year's resolutions. So first of all, kind of a side note, but not really a side note, I have found that I don't always do this, but the years when I have kind of declared my New Year's resolutions, but set them up more as goals and not really thought of them in terms of the new year, and started working on them in December, it's been easier to stick with them and make them more of a lifestyle thing, because I was already working on them. I was already kind of in the groove and getting the habit established long before the new year ever actually came. So use that tip if you need. But also just the general mindset around New Year's resolutions. We already all know this, that many of us in the back of our minds, no matter how excited we are, how much we're like, this is our year, how many times have we all said that? We kind of subconsciously already expect ourselves to fail by the end of the first month, if not within the first 3 months of the year. And I don't have much of a secret to that beyond starting early so that your brain doesn't recognize it as a typical New Year's resolution. That's one way around that little voice in your head that it's so hard to quiet. But also now that Reiki has been a part of my life and I've been getting used to using it more for myself than just for other people, which I've talked about before. That's just with anything that I do. I have a tendency to use and offer skills and other things that I know about to help other people. And then for myself, I don't want to say I suffer. That makes it sound too harsh. But like, I don't always remember to use these things for myself. At least not right away, which is weird. But I'm working on shifting my mindset around that. And I want to shift my mindset even more around New Year's resolutions. And of course, I want to bring you with me. So what I'm doing is on December 29th, which is a Thursday, at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. And it will be recorded in case you want to participate, but you can't be there live. I am doing a group Reiki session, and I had to kind of get everything ready quickly to give myself enough time to get the word out so that everybody who wants to participate had an opportunity to hear about it and know that it was going on, because there's a deadline for when you have to sign up. So I didn't have time to come up with a fancy name. So I'm just calling it the New Year's Reiki and Intention Setting. So we're going to do, of course, as the name implies, some group Reiki. And in that group Reiki, I'm going to help all of us kind of shake off the 2022 dust. I know a lot has happened for a lot of people this year, so just kind of shed that energy, leave it behind, recycle it, send it through to be recycled and transmuted for the highest good, and shift ourselves into the best possible mindset and the best possible energy for 2023. We'll set some of our intentions or goals, if you want to call them goals, together in real time. And we're also leading into the group Reiki. I'm going to lead you through just a little candle meditation. And the really cool, super exciting part is that I am giving you a handmade, all-natural candle to use for that meditation as part of this group session. So, included with the cost of your admission, which is only $30, this candle is going to be shipped directly to you. But in order to make sure that it arrives on time, the deadline to sign up for this is December 20th. So make sure you sign up right away. We've already got a few signups, so we've got a good group going. And I want to tell you about this candle. So I plan to make a reel for my Instagram so that this picture lives on Instagram, and I'll keep posting it in my stories too. But it is handmade. It is the Winter Solstice Eternal Light Intention Candle, I think is what it's called. Hang on. Well, my messages that show the full name are not coming up right now because my internet connection is not great at the moment. But it is made by Logan Orihuela, the Wild Well Woman on Instagram. She has been on my podcast before. I've been on her podcast, and she has started this company called Earth and Dirt, and she makes these beautiful candles. And they include some crystals, there's some fairy dust, there's essential oils in there. They are awesome, and I can't wait to get mine. And you're going to get the same candle so that we're all going to have this same intention setting candle to use to shift our energy, to shift our focus, and to energetically solidify our intentions for the new year. So I'm really excited for this, and I hope so many of you will join me, invite your friends, and just help spread the word. So when you sign up, you get one of those I'm in graphics to make it easy to share, and I just can't wait, and I hope to see so many of you there. If you have any questions, please let me know. I will make sure the link for this absolutely is in the show notes. Just remember the deadline again is December 20th to make sure that you get your candle on time. And of course, little side note, I will be talking a lot more and solidifying the details for Unshackled, which will be starting very soon, sometime in January. I'll have the final official start date and more details coming up soon for you. Otherwise, I really hope to see you for the New Year's Reiki. I think that's where I will leave it. So, as always, make sure you hop into the Energy Within Facebook group so you can catch all of the updates there. I don't know when. I really am hoping to get in. I've been trying to get in some time to do some card pulls again. It just hasn't worked out the way I've been hoping. So hopefully soon we'll be able to do some card pulls again. But you got to be in the group for that. And no, just being in the Facebook group does not guarantee you entry for the New Year's Reiki, because that is going to be on Zoom, just FYI. So make sure you go and actually officially sign up for that. And if any of this resonated with you, and or you just want to help get as many people to this New Year's Reiki as possible, please share on your social media or send it to a friend. And if you do share on social media, make sure you tag me on Instagram. I am Carrie Jokala. So that's the full name. So don't just do Carrie Jokala. My Instagram handle is I am Carrie Jokala, all one word. So thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.